Okay, so there are two graphing units on Khan Academy. There is the linear equations and graphs, and then forms of linear equations. So this is kind of like the introduction to things, going over slope, horizontal and vertical lines, plugging in things, finding x and y intercepts, just pretty basic stuff. So we're going to first start with this unit. So these two quizzes here are super easy. If you know how to solve equations, evaluate expressions, you'll be fine. Because all you have to do for these is just plug in. So basically what this is asking you is, is this a solution to this problem here? Basically, if you were to graph this line here, this linear equation, would these coordinates fall on that line? And you can check without having to even graph. And how you do that is just by plugging them in. So usually early on, you learn how to use a coordinate plane. If you do not know how to use the coordinate plane, please let me know. But you should know how to use it. You should know the pretty basics. You have the x and y axes. These are left, x is left to right, y is up and down. And points go x, y. So the way to remember is x comes before y, just like the alphabet. So these coordinates here are x and y, x and y. So it wants to know if these are either of these are a solution. So let's plug them in. We're going to plug in for this first one. We're going to plug into this. We're going to plug in a -3 for x. So y equals 4 times -3, because that's our x. Oh, and also our y is 3, so it should equal 3. Plus 9. Okay, well, this gets me -12 plus 9, which is a -3. So no, it is not a solution. Let's try this one. We have y, which is 2, is equal to -2 for x. So 4 times -2 plus 9. And now, once again, this is not a solution because this gets you 1. And so neither of these are a solution. And so that would be our answer. And you would do the same for each one. So these are different. You'll plug in a 1 for x. What would you get for y? Well, if I plugged in a 1 for x, I would get 3 times 1, which is 3, minus 7, which is -4. And you do the same for each one of these. So like I said, if you know how to solve equations, you will do fine with a lot of stuff with graphing. Make sure you master solving equations before moving on to graphing. So slope from graph, it says, well, I'm looking at a graph. So slope, everyone, what does slope mean? Slope means how far do you go from point to point? And your slope is y over x, always. It's always up and down and to the right. You always read your graphs left to right like you read a book. You don't read them going this way. You don't read it going, all over the place. It's always left to right. So y over x, we also call this rise over run, although it could go down and be a negative slope. So since this one left to right is going up, right, the numbers are going up, it is a positive slope. So you have to find where the points are on the graph. They're always in the corner squares, right? So look for the corner squares. If it does not hit in the very corner, it is not a point on the graph. Yeah, it's just floating around. But when we're first learning this, we are not looking for, floating around points. We are looking for points that are hitting the corners of the squares. So this point is over here, which is up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units to the right. 6 over 8. This can also be simplified to 3/4. Even if you did 6/8, which is why it's good to know how to do fractions. Simplify your fraction, you get 3/4, which is actually the slope of this line, 3/4. So this here is a negative slope, and they actually put the points for you, which make it convenient. So it goes down from 4 to -4, which is 8 units. it goes from -1 to 4, which is 5 units. So this is down 8. So it's a negative because it's going down 8 over 5. And you would do the same for each of these. This is how you find your slope when you're looking at a graph. Okay, graphing from slope. Super easy as well. So it says graph a line that contains the point -7, -4. Okay, so first you need to go to the point -7, -4, which is here. Then you need to, your slope is -2 over 3, which is down 2 over 3. You see that? Down 2 over 3. Remember, you go up and down before you go left and right when you're doing slope. This one, the point's at -2, 4. Remember, x before y for your coordinates. This is a positive slope. It's going up 2 over 5. Up 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's at 6, -5. It's going down 2 over 3. So this is, sometimes this will happen, and sometimes teachers will give you tests, and you can't fit your line on the graph. So you're going to have to graph backwards, meaning you're going to go up 2 to the left 3, right? Because look, it's still down 2 over 3, right? Each time, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. It is consistent. And the slope is 4. So if you ever see this, this basically means 4 over 1. So up 4 over 1. And that's how you graph from using a slope. So now, what if you're given a table? How do you find the slope? Well, make sure you write this formula down and keep it somewhere safe. Slope, when we're dealing with graphing in algebra, we use M for slope. M means slope. So slope is equal to your y2 coordinate minus y1 over x2 minus x1. These go in order. So if you're going to do, make sure you subtract like that. So just use the first 2 coordinates. You don't have to use, any other ones. So this is going to be my x1, y1 over here. And this is going to be my x2, y2 in the second row. Careful of your integers when you're setting this up. Lots of students mess up because of integers, which is why it's good to learn those in the very beginning of algebra, which you usually do in middle school, pre-algebra. So if you're not doing good with your integers, let me know. I can give you worksheets. I can give you where to practice them on Khan Academy. Make sure you're good with your integers. You do not want to make little mistakes because of them. So I did -6 minus -7, right? I just plugged into the formula. Now I'm going to do 17 minus 21. So this is going to become a plus sign. That's going to get me a 1. This is going to get me a negative 18, 19, 20, 21. Negative 1/4 would be my slope for this one. Oh, wait, messed up. I probably messed up my integers. Let me make sure. 17 minus 21 is -4. -6 minus -7 is 1. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I put my x's on top. They should be on the bottom. I put my y's on top. So yeah, sometimes, that might happen. So actually this should be -4. But don't worry, I'll do the next one. I basically did this backwards. That was a very bad example. Okay, so that's, of what not to do when finding your slope. So let's do this the right way. Your y's are on the bottom. So let's do y2 minus y1. x2 minus x1. This gets you 6. And this gets you -1. Nope, +1. So 6 over 1 is just 6, and that would be your slope. Let's try the next one for good luck because we messed up on the first one. So let's get 2 good examples in here. So this is going to be -21 minus -24. And this is 13 minus 9. So this is going to get you a positive here. You'll get 3. 13 minus 9 is 4. Cannot be simplified. 3/4 is my slope. And that's how you find slope from looking at a table. Now, slope from 2 points. You're going to be using the same formula. So when they give you your 2 coordinate points, they're going to be in order. It's going to already go x1, y1, x2, y2. You don't have to figure it out. Just know it's already in order anytime you're given 2 points, 2 coordinate sets. So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. This is going to get you negative 15. This will get you 3. And so negative 15 over 3 is negative 5. And so if you're even confused, if you get a wrong answer, they will show you how to do it. Like I said, careful of those integers. Usually if you get a wrong answer, it's because of that. If you're setting up your formula right, it's probably why you're getting a wrong answer. Okay, so now we have horizontal and vertical lines. Well, horizontal is your x-axis. Vertical is your y-axis. When things are graphed as, okay, so also, when doing graphing, actually, it's good to use Desmos sometimes, everyone. I like to use Desmos when I'm showing students things. You can use Desmos, it's a free graphing calculator. So basically, when you're graphing on your coordinate plane, I wish I could make this smaller, but it's okay. When you're graphing on your coordinate plane here, y equals, anything that says y, like y equals 5, y equals 7, they're all horizontal lines, right? Because you go to y on your, you go to your coordinate plane and you're going to go to y, y equals 3, and you graph a horizontal line. When you're dealing with x, it's going to be a vertical line like this. So the vertical lines here, they go up one, up one, up one, but they don't go over at all, right? They don't go to the right. They have a 1/0 slope, which 1 can't be divided by 0. Nothing can. It's undefined. It's an undefined slope for anything that says x equals. When you have these horizontal lines, they go over 1, but they don't go up. So these are 0 over 1. They have a 0 slope for anything that says y equals. So these have a 0 slope. These have a an undefined slope. So just know that when you're doing this part. So y equals 0 slope. What's the equation of this line? Well, it's going up vertically. It's x equals 0. Graph y equals 0. Okay, let's go to where y is 0. It's going to be a horizontal line. What's the equation of the horizontal line? Horizontal line is your y equals 6. What's the slope? Okay, this is x equals 6, undefined. Graph x equals 2. There we go. What is the slope of x equals -1? Okay, this is a vertical line. It goes up 1/0. It has a undefined slope. And those should be pretty simple. So that is that part. So I want you guys to kind of start with that before we move on to the x and y intercepts and applying intercepts. So practice those first.